Welcome to SFN, your preeminent source for space and defense news and all things tangentially related. We're your hosts, loyal to the foil here at Houston Mission Control and Alara of Sirius in low Earth orbit. And we're here live every Sunday night.
Are you ready to blast off, my friend?
Let's do this.
Welcome to SFN News Live, Sunday nights. I am your host, Alara of Sirius. This is my co-host, Loyal to the Foil. We're excited
what up, space peeps?
Right? What up, space peeps? We're always excited to be here with you guys. We look forward to Sunday nights, don't we? So
I see the chat's super psyched about the space pirates.
Right?
I see this going on here, right? That's a personal life goal for me. I was just having this discussion. I don't know what you guys are doing with the rest of your lives, but that's what I'm aiming for.
Can I get a 5-5 chat if our audio is good? We don't have any resetting issues or any of that. It's so good to see all of you. Hi, Sarah, Patriot, Cad Spotter, Jennifer, Mr. Fox, Lotus, Rook. It's good to be here. Yeah, Sunday night. So many articles. Sorry, guys. Last week, Foil was out of town. Tyler was supposed to fill in, and then I don't know what happened. But we're here now.
I missed you guys.
I know.
Right? I missed this. I'm glad we're here. We're back. It's all good.
This is awesome. Yeah. We have like so much to cover though because of you being gone. Like there is a ton of space news to cover. So Foil, how are you? I mean, how was your trip?
Oh man, it was long.
Yeah.
I used to drive like cross country all the time and thought it was like nothing. Now I'm old. I'm like, it's a little much. I'm glad to be home. Glad to be here. Right.
I've done it so many times. Like I don't even want to ever do it again. I've done it so many times. It's crazy. But it was fun. I mean, I got to see the whole country and, it's beautiful. America the beautiful.
Well, if we can get some flying cars or maybe I can, catch a ride with Elon or use the daggone Stargate, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's the part that
super short travel.
I can't get with that's the part that I tried to drive into LA not too long ago, a couple years ago, and just looked around me and I was like, no, like I'm not doing this. This is all completely unnecessary and I'm not doing this. So I don't know, but it's not too bad cruising on the 10. The traffic doesn't really ever get that crazy until you get into some of the cities. So
I thought it would be cute to take all the little back roads, until I realized that I had no connection on the back roads. And, trying to see, like, the world's largest tea kettle just really wasn't that big of a deal to me. So.
Right. Well, since we do have so much to cover, should we jump into it? Get to it,
lady.
Yeah, so we made a couple changes tonight, Space Peeps. We, as you see, was able to put the intro in, which is super exciting, right? Alara's learning OBS. She's getting better. So yeah, there's that. And then look, I now can put us both on the screen. Isn't that nifty, guys? So you don't have to just stare at articles when we bring up articles now.
Look at that.
Isn't that exciting?
That's
moving
snazzy.
right up.
Moving right up.
Hey, Kalodro, good to see you. Becky Lou, Mike B, Brandy.
RBG.
Are we getting jokes?
Kaz Potter says, yeah, right. Welcome back, RBG. Right.
Right.
It's so hot down here.
I can hear the children screaming.
They're screaming. Right.
Okay, so back to Space Force news. So first up, we have Space Force members can go to the moon if they're picked by NASA.
I feel some kind of way about this. I really feel some kind of way about this. Like, who is NASA to get to make that call?
Right, who's NASA to get to make that decision?
Never a straight answer.
Right? Okay, so since the U.S. Space Force was established in December 2019, officials have had to dispel misconceptions that the service will have a human spaceflight program and deploy troops to the moon.
We definitely need troops on the moon.
Right. I'm thinking we do need troops on the moon, and preferably ones that can activate their Merkaba. I'm just saying. At least for the foreseeable future, any member of the Space Force who wants to go to space Wants to go to space. Good, our humor's coming back. Wants to go to space, has to compete for a slot in NASA's astronaut corps. The astronaut corps, right?
Right.
Will there be a time when the Space Force will deploy large numbers of boots on the moon? No idea, General David D. Thompson, Vice Chief of Space Operations of the U.S. Space Force, said October 1st. Certainly not in my career.
That's kind of messed up.
But the Space Force has to prepare for the possibility of more human activity on the moon and colonization of the lunar region, which could require a military presence. Thompson said during an online event hosted by Defense One. So we didn't get into the Defense One thing, but this was like a big deal. We probably should have covered this, you know, the whole Defense One. Did you see this, Foil, the Defense One thing?
Clue me in. I was gone for a while here. I'm trying to catch up.
Well, there was like a lot of exciting. They had like some. It's really hard for me to explain it. I should have pulled it up, but
was this the meeting? They had
they had like a meeting, and
never mind. I lied.
And they made like some banners, and they had like competitions, and it was but it was not so. It would have been very time consuming to jump in. Did anybody check out the what is it called? Defense One?
Defense One.
Yeah. Did anybody check out the Defense One thing? You got to be pretty into Space Force to be like have done that, but. Anyway, all right, so in other Space Force news. All right, so Space Force says it has a plan to fix gaps in weather data. Congress for years has been critical of the U.S. Air Force's weather satellite programs. The Space Force has completed a report mandated by Congress on its plans to acquire weather satellites to fill a growing military demand for meteorological data, a senior official told Space News. The report is done and is being submitted to Congress by the Department of the Air Force. Charlotte Gerhardt, Chief of Space and Missile Defense Missile Systems Center Production Corps, Low Earth Orbit Division. Whoa, let me read that again.
Right, that's a lot.
Chief of Space and Missile Systems Center Production Corps, Low Earth Orbit Division. How do you even fit that? How do you fit that on your business card, friend?
On a resume, right?
How do you do that?
Chief of Space, right? Just leave it at that. Low Earth.
I would change it into like some sort of like a what do you call it? Where's my brain tonight? Not initials. Never mind. Forget it. Okay.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, with the letters, right? Help us out, chat.
Right.
Jeez.
What is going on with me tonight?
Wake it up. Wake it up.
Wake up. What's that song? Wake up before you go. Isn't that? Don't they say wake up? Don't you wake up before you go? Hey, the George Michael song. Come on now.
I don't know. I was here.
Wait. Oh no, it's wake me up before.
Wake up.
No, we are completely sober. Okay. The Defense Appropriations Committees, the Schumann's low today. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. The Schumann is really low. The Schumann is between 8 hertz and 16 hertz today. It's kind of like fluctuating, but that's pretty low considering it's been spiking like crazy lately. So
there have been some whiteouts I've seen. Quite a bit, actually.
I mean, not today. The Defense Appropriations Committees for years have been critical of the U.S. Air Force's space weather program, which is now the responsibility of the U.S. Space Force. In the 2020 conference report for the Defense Department, appropriators raised concerns about the Air Force's commitment to provide accurate and timely weather data, a mission with a profound impact on the daily worldwide military operations. Appropriators directed the Secretary of the Air Force to report back with details on the weather strategy. Gerhardt said that the Space Force, thank God he didn't announce his title again, because that... Gerhardt said the Space Force's weather acquisition plan is in the process of being delivered from the Air Force to Congress. Gerhardt said that she could not comment on the content of the report to Congress. She noted that the Space Force has several programs in place to provide space-based meteorological and oceanographic data and is investing in next-generation systems. Space Force earlier this month activated a geostationary weather satellite that was transferred to the Air Force by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in 2009. Formerly known as GOES-13, the satellite was renamed Electro-Optical Infrared Weather System Geostationary, EWS G1 and moved to the region over the Indian Ocean to fill a gap in coverage.
Still a lot. Acronym. The chat helped us out.
Acronym.
I kept wanting to
Thanks,
say,
guys. Yeah.
I kept wanting to say anagram. I'm like, I know that's not right.
Me too. I swear we're like tied into each other. I was gonna say this. I was like, anagram isn't right because I'd be on the anagram solver all the time. Seriously, I look at things and I be on that. I get on that anagram solver and I'm trying to figure stuff out. You know.
Right.
I never post my decodes code because they don't go anywhere. That's the truth. You know. They only make sense in my mind, not in anybody else's.
Right.
Okay. So, Space Force modifies contract for reuse of SpaceX launch vehicles. The U.S. Space Force's Space and Missile Systems Center, Launch Enterprise, and Space Exploration Technologies Corporation. You know, we're going to need you guys to kind of minimize these names just a little bit, you know? Just maybe find an acronym or...
maybe as we move forward, they'll get better. Knock
it down by like 2 words or something, just to make our job slightly easier. So yeah, the U.S. Space Force and Missile Defense Center, Launch Enterprise, and Space Exploration Technologies Corporation recently signed a contract modification to reuse a Falcon 9 first stage booster for the first time on a national security space launch mission, starting with the 5th Global Positioning System 3 satellite, scheduled to launch next year. While SMC's Launch Enterprise and SpaceX previously signed contract modifications enabling SpaceX to recover boosters for GPS-3 missions, the landmark reuse contract modification is the first of its kind for NSSL missions. The United States launch industry is the envy of the world, said Lieutenant General John F. Thompson, commander of the U.S. Space Force's Space and Missile Systems Center. Industry's innovation has been key to SMC's success over our 60-plus years existence. I am thrilled to welcome SpaceX innovative reuse into the National Security Space Launch Program.
Does this count as them going green?
I
would hope so.
Right. We know this
is environmentally friendly, right? Reusable rockets.
Right. So okay. I was looking at something real quick. Yeah, feel free when I do that, Foil, to just, jump right in.
When you just kind of space out.
Yeah, when I just kind of space out. So no thanks. Okay. Next in SpaceX. Or no, in Space Force. Where's my mind today? This is fascinating. All right. U.S. Space Force plans to launch astronauts someday.
One day. We don't know when.
Someday. We don't know when, guys, but,
right?
But someday, right?
But only if NASA says it's okay. That's right. Terrible.
That's only under that condition. Right. The United States Space Force plans to have an astronaut corps someday. This feels like some drip, drip, drip to me, friend. I mean, I'm just being real.
Maybe they just already have enough people up there that they're not really in a hurry to bring extra people up there.
They're slowly disclosing Space Marines, I think. I think that's what's going on.
Space Marines?
Yeah.
I want to be a space operator.
A space, I know, me too. The nation's newest The nation's newest military branch, which was created in December of 2019 to help protect American space assets and interests, doesn't currently launch anyone to the final frontier. But that will change.
It's so depressing, right? That feels so depressing.
If it all goes according to plan, Space Force officials said recently, at some point, yes, we will be putting humans in space.
Humans into space. See why? Why they got to specify?
Interesting. At some point, yes, we will be putting humans into space. Well, they put space mice. I'm just saying, maybe that's what they're talking about, Foil.
The tardigrades that they launched that are now running rampant over the moon.
Clearly, they launch mice into space. We've all seen this, right, guys? So, I mean, maybe that's just the next level. We've got the mice up there. Now speaking of that, hey, you got to check out the space mice in zero gravity at the space station. There's a video on YouTube, you guys. I'm gonna have to find it. Okay.
That sounds like great fun.
Mice running around in their little thing, and they're hold on a second. I gotta do something.
How does that even work?
Hold on, I gotta do something real quick here. And whoops. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, so they're running around in zero gravity. It's maybe it's just funny to me. There's a lot of things that are funny to me that aren't funny to other people, but I think it's the funniest thing ever. When you see these
that sounds great.
little space mags running around, and then you see them like they get caught and they're just like trying to run, and they're like, help, help.
It's their little feet.
It's the funniest thing. Hey, somebody needs to take that video and put it to music. It would be so funny. Right. And I'm not that person, but I hope somebody does it.
Is it meme worthy, Alara?
Oh, it's so good. I'm telling you, it's so good. Okay, so where was I?
Humans
please don't tell me
space.
I was. Please don't tell. Oh, I got distracted by the humans.
Right. It always happens. Okay.
So at some point, yes, we will be putting human beings into space, not just mice.
Right.
They will. They may be operating command centers. The humans, guys, not the mice. Yeah.
We hope.
Why are we so amused with ourselves today, Foil? I'm even turning red.
I see you. I don't know. I missed you. Maybe that's why.
I think we missed each other. And all our space peeps. We love them. I know. Right? Okay. So, all right. Pull it together, Commander. Pull it together.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. They're going to have command centers somewhere. We don't know where.
Right.
Maybe.
They may be operating command centers somewhere in the lunar environment. Somewhere in the lunar environment. Or someplace else.
Right. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. What does that mean?
I don't know.
All right. Wow. So Shaw added that in the conversation. He
Right.
spoke during a virtual conference organized by, here we go again, by AFWERX. Is that what it stands for? Defense One? That's a long
Well,
way.
they're talking about the online event was Defense One.
U.S. Air Force program designed to spur innovation within the branch. That's got to be Defense One they're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Yeah, so here's what he says. Okay, so General David Thompson, the Space Force Vice Commander, echoed these ambitions Thursday, October 1st, during an online event held by Defense One, a news outlet that focuses on U.S. defense and national security issues. But crewed Space Force missions aren't just around the corner, Thompson said.
He's the one that just said not during his career.
Right.
Man, different story.
Don't be
every
hating.
time he talks. I'm just saying. And Vice Commander, like, what is that? Anytime I hear the word Vice now, I just see Archer. Vice. Like,
what's
I don't
Archer?
know. Do you watch that show?
No.
Oh my, what?
No.
Oh, okay.
I never even watched cartoons as a kid.
Listen, this is something else, though. It's hysterical. Space, too. There's a whole space season. It's great. You got to check that out.
All right. We got to keep it moving since we have so much to cover. Why do I not see? Okay.
You're going to cover it all in 5 minutes.
Am I doing
You're
good?
super amped. Yes.
Right? Yeah, if I stop getting distracted and laughing at the space mice and stuff, I wish I had that video queued up right now. I'd play it. You guys would be cracking up too, I'm going to tell you. Because it is that funny. But
some circus music.
Or maybe it's just...
Right.
Yeah, that'd be that might work. Yeah, that could work. Okay. So, here we are. We're back. Look at these ads. It's out of control. Okay. Elon Musk boasts his Starship will take passengers to space in 3 years and says humans need to be an interplanetary species because the sun will eventually engulf the Earth. Well...
Yeah, like billions of years from now. Like, he's talking about... I mean, this is not like an imminent thing. And by the way...
Elon, no more fear porn. No more fear porn, okay?
Right. They're talking... I just want to make note, and I said something about this on Twitter. Do you know that this week... when the market bottomed out after Prez came out with his very disturbing news, one of the only investments I had that actually went up was commercial space flights, specifically Virgin Galactic.
Really?
Yeah, that and herb. Yeah, the medical and recreational herb stocks went up in correlation with the decrease of the rest of the market. So people were just thinking about smoking blunts and going to space, I guess. I don't know. It seemed to hold. It was. I can feel it though.
Whew. Yeah. So. Right? Yeah.
In any case, continue.
In any case, Elon Musk has a plan to ensure the long-term survival of humanity. Yeah, we know what his plan is, and I'm not down with that plan. So let's hope we're looking at something else here. Yeah, the ads in Daily Mail, they are intense. You're exactly right, Colodro. It's a little crazy. We must become an interplanetary species in a spacefaring civilization. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO was a guest on the podcast Sway, where he revealed details of the Starship rocket set to take people to Mars and a few bits of doom and gloom. He told the host, Kara Swisher, that eventually the sun is going to expand and engulf Earth, saying humans need to go to Mars. Well, right.
That's
right. So
literally like billions of years from now.
This is for sure going to happen, but not anytime soon, Musk said.
But we just need to hurry up.
Stop trying to scare the sheep, okay? The billion.
He does.
I think we don't need to go any further on that article, but yeah, I mean, as long as it's a little ways off
the planet before the robot rebellion, we're gonna be fine.
Right. Before the robot rebellion. Oh, speaking of rebellions, hey,
I'm just saying.
I don't know if anybody that's not on Twister.
I'm done with you.
On Twitter, Kate Awakening. Hello, Miss Kate. I see you out there. She made a tweet about these sarcophagi that they found in Egypt, and I think it was 100. They dug up 100 sarcophagi with perfectly intact. What are they? When you wrap somebody up, mummies, right? And they say that there are hundreds more that they're about to dig up that are perfectly intact as well. So, number one, how do they even know this? Our ground penetrating radar would be my guess, right? So,
I mean, that's how they probably found the cache of mummies.
How many of you guys think it's probably not wise to dig up the undead? And furthermore, here's what I'm thinking. You know, this whole drip disclosure, I'm thinking maybe, possibly, it's just a theory, possibly, maybe whatever's in there isn't human or only partially human. I mean, because let's face it, folks, Antarctica is melting and they're going to have to come on with some level of ET disclosure at some point here. So just my theory, but perhaps those aren't entirely human bodies in those sarcophagi.
I mean, there has been some theorizing about, the bloodline of the pharaohs. I mean, in fact, that kind of fits into the whole overarching conspiracy theory. You know,
I don't think that really is in the conspiracy theory territory.
Oh, it is though.
What?
Yeah.
Which part?
When you go back, the bloodlines and the religious practices of them. I don't want to say too many things on here, but yeah, it definitely ties in. I mean, they talk about their extended heads. That's why they had the crazy hats.
Does anybody think it's a good idea for them to be digging up Egyptian sarcophagi? Granted, whether they be human or non-human, how many think that's a good idea?
I just think if it's buried, you need to leave it alone. Like, don't dig me up. That's all I'm saying. Just leave me, like, in 1,000 years, don't come asking questions.
All right, well, are we moving on to the news now? Okay, we're back to the news.
Whenever makes you happy.
Okay, so here we are. SpaceX Starlink satellites could make U.S. Army navigation hard to jam. SpaceX has already launched more than 700 Starlink satellites, with thousands more due to come online in the years ahead. Their prime session is to provide high-speed internet virtually worldwide, extending it to many remote locations that have lacked reliable service to date. Now,
they claim they want to give internet to everybody.
Right.
There are many more reasons they've got those satellites up there. We've talked about it.
Yeah, and clearly military applications. It's not so everybody can get better Wi-Fi at home, right?
Right.
We've discussed this. I don't know which episode it was, but we went talking. This is something you kind of need in order to pull off Bluebeam, correct?
Oh yeah, that would certainly help.
Just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah. Now, research funded by the U.S. Army has concluded that the growing mega constellation could have a secondary purpose, doubling as a low-cost, highly accurate, almost unjammable alternative to GPS. Hey, maybe that's because of the okay. You see the little hamster running on the wheel?
No, I know. Yeah, in your head? Yes.
Yeah, that one.
I
Not the hamster on the
away.
SpaceX rocket. The hamster in my head. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So, stop getting distracted. I'm like, squirrel. Right.
So it's all right.
I know. Keep me in line. You got to keep me in line, Foil. I'm out of control
Right?
today.
I'm sorry. I think it's kind of funny. I like it.
You just think
But
it's
that's just
entertaining?
me.
They probably think it's
I
entertaining too.
do. They probably do. But
Now-
no, you're right. I mean, there are many more applications for these satellites.
Okay.
And not only that, but like once you put so many things up there, we've talked about this before also.
Right.
You got so much stuff around Earth, it makes it really hard to get out to launch from the surface if you don't have, you know, pre-authorized access and coordinates and all of this stuff. We're building a wall, man. We're very good at that.
It sure seems like we need a space army, doesn't it?
Yeah, we definitely are going to have a space army and a space wall and all that.
Right. It seems like we need all the above. And a
Right,
space
we're
elevator,
taking
to be honest.
Right. We
Okay.
do need that too.
Now, research funded by the U.S. Army has concluded that the growing mega constellation could have a secondary purpose, doubling as a low-cost, highly accurate, almost unjammed. I already said that. The new method would use existing Starlink satellites in low Earth orbit to provide near-global navigation services. In a non-peer-reviewed paper, Todd Humphreys and Peter Iannucci of the Radio
Navigation Laboratory.
Radio Navigation Laboratory at the University of Texas at Austin claimed to have devised a system that uses the same satellites piggybacking on traditional GPS signals to deliver location precision up to 10 times as good as GPS, and a system much less prone to interference.
I mean, that's good. You know, what do they got? Like 30 satellites up there now that control GPS? That just doesn't feel right. If we have 30,000, you know.
So SpaceX,
where can you go wrong?
I'm not going to bring this article up, but SpaceX aborted launch of GPS Space Force satellite with 2 seconds left on the clock. So that's just that I just read that today. So yeah, so it looks like we're having a little bit of issues, and in fact, Elon's headed out to Florida to go check on some stuff to try to get that whole situation under control. So
chat, they're pretty funny. Yes, Calodro, you can see my Italian all day with the Iannucci's.
Yeah,
right.
She's very Italian. Yeah. So
what are you talking about, man?
Right.
Go ahead.
So where were we? Starlink. Okay, so we covered that. So
I think we're into defense now.
No, we're not. We got one more here. Hold on. Let me see.
Oh, okay.
We got, yeah, we're almost into defense. She's like, please let us be on defense because Alara just cannot, the commander has lost control of the ship today and she needs to be fired. And we need to move on to foil section of the show because this is just this is going downhill quick, right? I've only got one more article that I got to cover, guys. So we'll be all right. Okay. So, Elon Musk says retail investors will get top priority for Starlink IPO. SpaceX founder Elon Musk confirmed his intent to spin out the company's internet from space arm Starlink, but only when revenue growth is smooth and predictable. Musk warned that will still be several years in the future when Starlink's cash flow becomes more reliable. Public market does not like erratic crash flow. He tweeted out Monday night. Wouldn't want to leave that part out, right?
Listen, when Starlink IPOs, I'm going to be on that train all day. Like that is there's going to be a ton of money.
I don't think you're going to be the only one that's on that train.
I'm
which
sure.
Really makes me wonder how profitable that path will be because, you know, it's not going to be cheap to buy in. I mean, because you're not going to be the only one jumping on. I'm just saying.
Well, you think, like, I'm sure Starlink will be bigger than but for example, Virgin Galactic shares are like $20 a share right now, and then space tourism is totally going to be a thing, and if it's not, I'm going to insist that it is.
Well, isn't that because he just got hemmed up?
Who? No, what, the Virgin Galactic guy? No,
he didn't get hemmed up, but
IPO'd the other day.
Right, yeah, but there's stuff out in the field about him, dude, that could make people a little leery about jumping on that train. I'm just saying that could have some influence on the stock price and the IPO. So I'm just putting it out there, you know. All right, this isn't the first time we've heard of a potential Starlink IPO. Back in February, Bloomberg quoted SpaceX operations chief Gwen Shotwell saying, "Right now, we are a private company, but Starlink is the right kind of business that we can go ahead and take public. That particular piece is an element of the business that we are likely to spin out and go public. Through Starlink, Musk is pushing to turn beaming broadband from space into a lucrative business. By 2025, Musk aims to have sent roughly 12,000 satellites into low Earth orbit, over 6 times the satellites currently orbiting Earth. So far, SpaceX has successfully launched 700 Starlink satellites. That's more than the minimum required for basic operations, and reportedly close to what's needed to begin rolling out the service.
I'm signing up. I can't help it. I know he's an evil overlord, but he is my favorite of the evil tech overlords.
I don't know. He's showing some signs lately. Well, we've talked about this. We don't need to go into this, but I'm starting to understand his role with Space Force and the whole thing, and it makes sense now in light of his tweets, and I'm not. Oh,
he's definitely in on the plan. Whatever the plan is, right? He's definitely.
That's what I'm starting to think. I used to be very confused about him.
Like Flynn.
Right. Yeah. So. All right. So on to defense, because the commander can't handle herself today. So.
Everybody else in the chat said they were kind of giddy today too. Laughing.
Right. I think it's because the Schumann's solo. The Schumann's solo or something like. I'm just
maybe.
They know, they watch, they know that I normally can read the articles and I'm good to go, and I don't, but today, all downhill. Okay, on to defense, my friend.
Yes.
First one being
the expansion of Navy fleet.
That's right.
China, always China recently. I mean, this is kind of crazy though. I mean, really, the Mark Esper said that he is going to expand, and I mean, like hundreds of ships now. He wants to have autonomous, of course, robot ships, naturally. They're calling it Plan Future Forward. They want to increase from 293, bring the fleet up to like 355 ships. I mean, I saw an article the other day where they were kind of speculating that it would take nearly the entire U.S. fleet to combat China if they came for us for real, which was kind of a scary thought. So by 2045, is that what he said? Yeah, by 2045, his goal is to add tens of $billions in automated ships, drones, automated submarines, automated, which is great until, like I said, the robot rebellion. It kind of scares me.
I'm not into that idea either.
But I suppose in the midst of conflict, it might be good to have things out there that don't have people on them. I'm sure Starlink will help with that. Being able to get the bandwidth that they need to operate those sorts of things. Like he's really playing a bigger role than we give him credit for, I think.
Foil, what do you think about this? What do you think of this idea that the AI is automatically dispatching? Okay, say somebody has like a close contact experience with ETs, right? And their ships, right? It would only be logical that the AI would dispatch drones to watch this and report back. Correct?
Oh, for sure.
Right. Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that happens, and that maybe even some of the UFO sightings we see are not necessarily UFOs in the way that we think of them, but drones dispatched by AI to watch the ETs, which just showed up in our space-time, and they need to check it out so they can then make a decision what they're going to do. Correct?
Well, even if you look at it from our perspective,
right,
it would be way easier. And this is one of the things behind Neuralink that I'm always saying. Elon says you want to merge with the AI because we can't confront it. But think about it like this: if we want to send something interstellar, we can't send humans, right? It's just not practical. But you can send droids that attach to the Neuralink inside. We can monitor from here what they're doing out there. So yes, it makes perfect sense that be it AI or some other form of intelligence would be sending some sort of.
You're talking about typical space travel with spaceships, correct? Because portal travel, you could do that.
Well,
you might have to modify a little bit, but you could do it.
We're going to talk about crazy traversable portals here in a minute.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we have some stuff to go into that with later, right? But it
makes sense that you would send something maybe that you could just connect to instead of having to send a flesh and blood
correct
being.
Correct.
It'd be a lot easier that way. You know.
Yeah, totally true. Right? Okay, so
But yes.
there's so much with China, you guys, with defense in China. Like, things are really escalating with China right now, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of it. I'm sure.
You know my theory.
A lot of the Anons
I think
are,
we
but...
are in the midst of a silent war at the moment. I mean, China is testing with all of the surrounding countries right now. And then, I mean, you already know that the tensions between the U.S. and China have been high. I mean, ever since even before the issues with the embassy this summer, where everybody was pulling their, we shut their embassy down. I mean, they were spying. I mean, IP, stealing intellectual property, is one of the foundations of the Chinese tech advancement.
Right.
They steal the intellectual property, they revamp it as their own and put it into mass production, and they do it way cheaper without the R&D that we have to spend to get it in the first place. And they're kind of able to make quicker and cheaper advancements that way as well.
Paula Russo, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go right ahead.
Paula Russo asked, Huawei. Is Huawei going to be held accountable?
Did you see their lab burning the other day?
Yeah,
mysterious
Paula,
explosion
did you see
at the Huawei lab?
The Huawei lab in China is engulfed in flames.
One of their main R&D locations burning the other day. There have been multiple explosions in that country. Buildings.
You think that's them? I mean, we don't want to speculate too much. Do you think that's them burning evidence, or do you think that was...
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't see them burning that. The Chinese are in it for the long haul. These people are master strategists. Like, and I was just talking to our friend Blue the other day. The United States depends on the assumption of overwhelming force, whereas China will play the long game and use strategy to position their assets globally, to get the intelligence that they need, and it allows for them to be able to pull back and revamp their plans much quicker than, we just want to go in and blast everything. Like, we think that's the answer and that's always going to keep people in check, and it doesn't. I mean, they've been buying up property. They've been placing people in strategic positions here at the universities. We know they've got politicians under their belt. Like, Perez getting into office really flipped their plans.
Grizzly Whisker says, my dad has a tool and die shop here in Detroit. He's making parts for SpaceX, but has only talked to Elon once on a conference call, never met him. I wish I could get more info about Elon through it.
I wish I could talk to Elon Musk.
We all want some more info on Elon. And hey, Paula Russo, I miss you so much and your restaurant. I'm just saying. I really do. I really do. I miss it a lot. Okay, so are we on to the next article, or are we still on that one?
No. I mean, they're making automated chips, to go with the automated everything else to counter China. The one about Taiwan, the next article, I mean, that happened while I was gone, but it's so important. We send state level visitors over to Taiwan to interact regularly. And recently, this has become a huge problem. I mean, they literally launched, China had jets flying over when we had our people going, in and out of the airport there the other day. Well, I say the other day, the 2 weeks ago when I wasn't here. But I mean, this is highly provocative action by them, and it's kind of crazy because there's a newspaper over there, the China's Global Times. They're not technically tied in with the CCP, but they're parrots for their official ideology. They said, once the People's Liberation Army dispatches troops to reunify the island of Taiwan, the military equipment from the U.S. will be nothing but decorations. Right? I mean, they're saying it as if this is, in fact, what is going to happen once China goes and reunifies with the island. I mean, there's no doubt, I think, that this is a potential powder keg for an increased global conflict. And I mean, especially, China's not just testing Taiwan. We know that China has problems. Like I said, there's been kind of a lot of flag waving going on in the South China Sea. We've seen issues with China and India, which is another hugely potential massive conflict. I think we talked the last time we had the show about how Japan and India had recently signed a mutual defense agreement. I mean, this is huge. But yeah, I mean, so we're sending people to Taiwan, and China is overtly threatening them, overtly making threats and then talking crazy to the media, to the global media. I mean, it's kind of nuts. We haven't really, they played real nice when other people were in office. They're not so happy now, and I wonder how much longer this can kind of remain a cold conflict. I really do personally think this has the potential to escalate into a hot conflict very quickly.
Ouch. It's scary. The China stuff is scary. It really is. And I mean,
well, you come with all the fun articles. I'm here with the doom and gloom.
Right.
Just keep it balanced. Right. Fair and balanced news.
So far, we're very fair and balanced today. What do you guys think? If I can hold it together a bit. All right. So China accuses U.S. at UN of trying to take
the world back to the jungle age.
Right.
You take us back to the jungle. Right. Yeah, they were mad. They were mad. They said we lied. Right. What happened was Betsy DeVos went to a UN General Assembly meeting and got up and spoke on the fact that China has forced abortions for millions of baby girls and then sterilized people as well, right? I mean, they had that one-child policy for the longest, and of course, everybody wants a boy.
They force.
Oh yes.
Wow, I just can't even wrap my mind around that, man.
So if you already had a kid, you weren't allowed to have another kid. Yes, they would, there may be some families, they said that you could maybe buy the right to have another baby, but for most people that wasn't even a consideration. Most of these women, if they got pregnant for a second time, they would have to have a forced abortion, and then a lot of times, like especially if it was a routine issue, they would be forced into sterilization. And this is just the mainstream. I can't even imagine what they're doing to the Muslim populations in that country. We know they're taking them into camps and everything else already. Like, I'm sure it's horrific. But Nancy DeVos got up there and just called them out. Like, you guys murdered millions of baby girls at a UN General Assembly meeting. And naturally, the UN backs China's play like they always do. They have a specific, the United Nations Population Fund said that it regrets the accusations DeVos made, which was, apparently unnecessary. They want to push that it's voluntary sexual and reproductive health, but that's what China plays. That's the info that China releases. That's not what's really going down over there. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, they had a one-child policy, and they really made people get rid of that. So then they got mad at Betsy DeVos. They see her as a Trump proxy, of course. Mm-hmm. And we don't need the United Nations anyway, do we?
No, they're
always causing some kind of ruckus.
That's all bad right there.
Yeah, and they called her a liar. Like, how are you going to call her a liar? It's on paper.
Right.
I hate that.
Okay, so do you want to move to the next segment? Paula Russo just said she hopes... Hold on, what'd she say about Sidney Powell? I hope Sidney Powell takes over the FBI. Amen. I do too. Absolutely, 100%.
Right?
Yeah. I trip out every day on the level of corruption we got going on. It's unbelievable, really, to watch. Okay, so is India gearing up for war with China?
Well, I know we've talked about this 100 times on the show, but like you guys know, there's a lot of contention at the border, specifically over the Ladakh region, which there's an area. There was a short war in like 1962, and they came to some border agreement that they really have never agreed on. And recently, it's gotten to the point where there have been altercations between the Chinese on the one side and India on the other, and it's becoming a growing problem. I mean, we've increasingly been selling arms to Taiwan, as I said. We've been selling upgraded arms to India, and now over the past week, we have seen them roll out a lot of their mechanized divisions to the Ladakh region, which is like 15,000 feet above sea level. It's with winter coming, it's freezing up there. But I guess they've got the only division that is specific on Earth, apparently, that is specifically equipped and that functions in these sort of low temperature situations, with in the mountains with the freezing temperatures and whatnot. I mean, their tanks and stuff have special fuel that keeps from freezing. They have all kinds of special mechanized gear that they drag up there with them. But we are just continuing to see an escalation of problems on the border between India and China. And this is another place, like I said, where there's a great potential for this to be a powder keg for, global conflict. Truly. India is one of our, we're strong allies. They are a nuclear nation. They are a large country. We have already agreed to have their back. And they love Trump. So, of course, that's a problem.
Yeah, it was super cool seeing him go over there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, they were hyped. Even in Houston. Do you remember he had some kind of a rally? Some of the statesmen from India were here. It was huge. Like, they were super hyped about him coming to the Houston rally. It was like 2 days before that one hurricane went in there and just leveled things. Right. Surprise.
Did you see all the people here, praying outside of Walter Reed? There's bikers out there praying.
Yes, right.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Man, there were a lot of like drag the interstate things today, and even people in New York City. Did you see the videos?
Yeah, I saw that in front
of
Trump
great.
Tower. Yeah.
Right.
It's
out
awesome.
There flag waving, right?
It's awesome to see the unity consciousness, the love and the prayer and the goodwill towards, when there's so much
with
evil,
all the hate
there's so
elsewhere.
Much evil and hate going on that it's really amazing to see the unity consciousness with certain beings on this planet, not all clearly, but some.
Right.
So hopefully more and more will wake up little by little. Okay, so
that's all with the doom and gloom. Yeah, we're done with the defense. Like, I think that was it. That was all.
Okay.
Doom and gloom.
So over 75% of space debris detected in new survey is unknown objects.
Crazy, right? We've talked about the Kessler syndrome, where you can't even. The space is so muddled up, especially the in low Earth orbit, that you can't even launch to get out. They don't even have all of this stuff mapped. Like, Elon wants to send up, what's the total? I think 30, what is it? Something crazy, like 30,000 Starlink satellites. Can they see the picture of the debris field surrounding Earth? And I mean, some of these things are small.
Wow.
Like flecks of paint small. But they only have... that's
a square business debris field there.
Man, and they've got a minimal amount of it that's been marked. And apparently the U.S. has the most comprehensive... grouping of information on this space debris, but it's still completely incomplete. And it's crazy because they've got defunct satellites. There's stuff up there now that's defunct that doesn't even work. There was an incident where a Russian satellite, an old one, and I think an Indian satellite maybe smashed into each other and created more space debris. Like, these things are going to be making this a very muddled...
I don't even know how they keep control of that situation. Because, what was that movie, Gravity? Oh, my, you guys. That movie.
Oh, right?
Oh, no.
Was that with the one with, what's his face? Clooney?
Sandra Bullock and... Yeah, I think Clooney was in it.
Yep.
But, hey, that whole... Hey, you want to get sick to your stomach, you don't even have to get on a roller coaster. Just watch Gravity. But, hey, why doesn't that happen, though? You would think, with all this crap going around, you would think all it would take is... something hitting something,
most of it will burn up in the atmosphere, right? Most of the stuff, even if it did,
how
it
much
got knocked
stuff
down.
does it hit on its way to the atmosphere that would then cause like a chain reaction, and then it gets all gravity?
I don't know. We need space junkers. We need metal scrapping guys to go up there with like big nets or magnets and collect all the space debris. I'll do that.
We're gonna need spaceships for that. I don't think we're gonna do that with the rockets. We're gonna need spaceships.
I can hope.
Right.
I told you. I get up there with my
space pirates. What do you call a space
junkers? Yeah,
what do you call the guy that picks up space garbage in a spaceship?
Right, a scrapper.
A space scrapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be a scrap. We're gonna have to get some scrappers up there. I mean, listen. They say they're not going to be sending people into space for a long time. They are very soon going to be wanting to send people up there to mine things.
Of course.
Like ASAP. If there's money to be made, they will find a way to do it. Like, point blank. They're not going to be waiting 30 years to send more people into space. That's not how this is going to work.
100%.
They say Space Force.
Technically, JM4N just said, which is J-Rod. J-Rod just said, it's not the J-Rod, it's another J-Rod. J-Rod just said, we don't have any ETs that watch the show that I'm aware of, but you never know. Maybe we do. I bet if they do, I'm unaware of
Right.
it. So J-Rod just said space pirates. Yeah, think about it. Because if you're collecting scraps, then what are you going to do with the scraps? You're going to try to turn them in for money, right? So technically, that would be a space pirate. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, there's got to be other things to loot than just scrap metal.
Well, granted.
If you're gonna
but
be a
if you're
space
going to be
pirate.
up there going for the scrap metal, you're going to be going for other things too. You know,
Right.
If you're a
I'm
space
snatching
pirate with a
Starlink
spaceship,
satellites, right?
that's right. You're gonna be looking for some other stuff too. Just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Just call it scrap. Like I found this fair and square.
Right.
You know. Yeah. I stole this fair and square. Who can argue with that?
All right. Space music.
Oh, do we get to? This
Yes,
is really
I'm gonna play
awesome.
the video. Yes. All right.
Okay,
you guys.
go ahead and play the video first.
I hope we don't get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna play the video. I think I have it right here. All right. So Kofefe foil.
Isn't that awesome?
So that, my friends, was space music. How cool is
Yes.
that? Right?
NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory has correlated the different signals that they're getting from space with different, tones and bells and such, and it makes some really beautiful music. I was telling Alara before the show, I don't remember if it was Stargate or Star Trek where they had the music of the spheres or the music of the orbs or whatever, but that space had music. The universe, we've talked about this too.
I've had
everything
people
came from the sound.
I've had people tell me, and it's written historically from people that, that there's music up there, you guys. The music of the heavens.
Right.
There's music.
Exactly.
Space makes music. Everything makes.
It's so peaceful.
There's music.
Like I could listen to that.
Right?
Right? Everything does resonate. It's all about the resonance.
I want to hear the space music. I just want to go so I can hear the space music.
Right?
I want to hear the music of the
primordial
heavens.
Om. Right?
Yeah, that's just so fascinating to me. Like, come on, our creator's amazing. It makes music.
Absolutely.
The heavens has
Everything.
music. And I mean, I've been told this by a few people that would be in a position to know. So, not just the recordings they make from the planets and this and that, but there's actual, like, music up there. Like, you can hear it when you go there.
Well, I mean, the
So
everything vibrates.
Right.
Everything has a resonance and a frequency.
So cool.
We've talked about everything from cymatics to them making, the sound to the light to matter. Like, I mean, this is, like I said, part of the primordial Om. It's really
Space
beautiful.
music.
But
So cool.
yeah, we wanted to share that with you guys.
Magic Bird said sound of the planets. Yes. Hey, who used to talk about music of the spheres? I'm trying to remember who that was.
I don't know, but
Plato? Is it Plato?
Maybe?
I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is so cool. And space makes music, and this is what it actually sounds like. So this is where we pulled the video from, is this article, which will be linked in the description below. And yeah,
when you want to go to sleep at night, turn on the space music.
space music. Hey, I did that
Right.
last night. Like, I figure it'll help with the astral plane if I play, like, I actually have it on now. Like, I'm in a ship with ASMR, but it's like
Right.
space, but it's space. Maybe I should play the space music and see what happens. See where
how
I go.
your being resonates to that, right?
Okay.
I can dig it.
I think I'm going to try that out. Okay. So, UAE to launch unmanned mission to the moon by 2024.
Man, they're quick. They're quick. They just launched a probe to Mars, I think in like June or July. But yeah, they're not slacking off. They said the Arabs are coming back, going hard in the sciences, and now they're going to launch an unmanned mission to the moon by 2024. They plan on getting a crewed mission to the moon up there not long after. And this is all being paid for and built by their own companies. They're not going to Elon for this. They're not going to China for this. They're going to do this themselves. They sent their first astronaut to the International Space Station last year, which was kind of cool.
Already how do you pronounce it? Emirati space probe is hurtling through space on its way to Mars, while last year it sent its first astronaut to the International Space Station.
They did. I mean, they're kind of quick with it. They launched from Japan in like June or July, their probe to Mars, which it should, what's it take, like 7 or 8 months to get there? We should be getting some results from that soon, I would imagine. I don't know how much of that they're going to share. I would hope. I mean, they're one of our allies, actually. They're one of our stronger allies. Hopefully they'll share a lot of the information that they get.
They were just involved in the peace treaty situation with Israel, too.
They certainly are.
Right?
Very forward thinking.
Right. Super cool. Super cool. Okay, so we want to move on to hold on, this isn't coming in. Oh yeah. Discovery of strange crack expanding on moon surface has baffled scientists.
Yeah, so that is kind of nuts, right? Because they clearly don't know what is going on the moon. At all, right? So apparently the other day they had like a moonquake. They had put some seismographs up there with the Apollo missions, right?
How could it have a?
That's what I'm saying.
It's hollow. How could it have a moonquake?
I don't know, right? It also rings like a bell, so I guess they're trying to figure that out. I mean, you've got to figure, like, okay, let's just imagine that it was an artificial satellite towed into orbit, that it's made out of metal, right? Well, I mean, things crashing into it, it could theoretically have developed a rocky crust, right? I mean, how many meteors and such are going to hit this thing that maybe break into pieces and then get sucked into its own gravity and creates kind of like a coalesced rocky crust? So theoretically, I could see that happening. Well, apparently this crust has now cracked, and it is a rapidly expanding crack, and they really don't have a lot of information in the article about it. All they know is that it's a huge crack that is getting bigger. They don't know what happened here, but they know that there was some kind of a moonquake because they put the seismographs up there during the Apollo missions, and now they're trying to figure it out.
Maybe half of the moon spaceship is taking off.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe the internal moon stuff is getting a little irritated and they're ready to go.
Yeah. Hey, my little hamster's going now. That's... I'm going to be in a moon rabbit hole, guys. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to be looking into...
Yeah, like a moonquake. They're trying to refer to it as like there's a fault line. Well, there's clearly no tectonics going on. There's no plate tectonics. There's none of that. Like I said, theoretically, if it were an artificial satellite made out of metal that happened to come into our orbit at some point, because Lord knows, the math shows that it shouldn't even be there.
Right.
Right? The orbit the moon is in, the math says that's not possible. Right?
Right.
So we'll just ignore that and pretend like it's just some big chunk of Earth that got popped out at some point, right? That's what they say, I think, whatever crazy stuff they say now. But yeah, it's cracking. The surface is cracking. But like I said, I can see where after so long being in orbit, maybe getting hit by impacts and then the rocks break up and it kind of coalesces over time into some kind of a rocky crust. You know, still doesn't explain the moonquakes, though.
Russ Rass says opening launch doors. See, we're all on the same page here. We're all thinking completely outside the box. That's why I love my space peeps. I love them because they think completely outside of the box. Clearly, it's not an earthquake. So if it's not an earthquake, and theoretically, if it's a ship, then...
Theoretically.
Right. Then what would this be a sign of? The fact that there's a moon earthquake. I think you're on the right path there, Russ. You know...
I mean, it's cracking. The crust is cracking. Something is going on, like you said.
Either something's going on inside, or a part. I'm thinking, or a part of it is getting ready to take off. So I mean,
maybe wouldn't that be something?
Possibly.
Lord Almighty, do you know what would happen if we had no tides That'd be crazy. But I mean, really.
Yeah, this
the
hey, if part of
physics
the moon ship takes off, this is not the place you want to be when that happens. Just saying.
at all. I can't
mean,
wait to see what theories they come up with for why this happened. This just happened, which is why they don't
right.
have a whole lot
It's
of
going to be
information
interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah.
Okay, so scientists find evidence of multiple underground lakes on Mars. Big shocker,
Of
huh?
course they did, right?
Of course they did. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, well, so in 2018, they said they figured there was liquid water. They thought most of it was like, what, frozen at the polar caps? Well, now they think, and I love how they say they discover these things, like as if nobody else had been there to discover it before. Like, it's been there. But Nature pointed out that they just published a paper. From 2012 to 2015, they were basing their theories on liquid water on Mars because it was only, based on like 29 observational studies that they did, which apparently was not enough. Now, they used data from a radar instrument from the European Space Agency's Mars Express spacecraft to investigate the planet's southern polar region. And they figured out, long story short, there are glacial lakes, or similar to glacial lakes, on Mars, underground. Because there's nothing else underground on Mars, I'm sure. They need water. I'm just saying.
I know, right?
Right.
Yeah, and there's no atmosphere, right?
And of course, there are, contrarian scientists that are saying there's no water up there. There's nothing else up there. Like, you're not going to find liquid water under Martian ice. And even if you do, that doesn't mean there'll be life there. But I'm saying.
I wonder when mainstream science is going to catch on to the frequency thing, that things are only detectable based on the frequency you know what I mean? Like there could be, I wonder when their mainstream science is going to catch on to that. Like on other planets, in our own solar system, go ahead.
Man, look, if you just think about the small amount of the light spectrum that we see, the visible light, our visible light spectrum is minute compared to the actual spectrum of light. And scientists know this, but they don't want to come out and say anything that might end their careers.
Right.
There are so many things,
what it comes
just
down
because
to.
we can't, we have like what, 5, maybe 6, if you talk about ESP senses, like to think that covers everything, it's kind of egotistical.
But once we change things,
way more there.
There's a lot of us working to change things now. And once we do change things, this way of operating based on a narrative and only allowing information out that fits that narrative, that just will not be how things operate anymore. I mean, look at how many people there are like us, Foil, that have literally taken a topic, started a channel, and just started doing their own. Nobody hired us at the news center. Nobody said, we didn't fill out a resume. Nobody said, you're hired. Now you can talk about the Space Force News. We hired ourselves. So
right.
Why? Because we're going to look for the truth. We're not going to, we're not getting paid to follow a narrative.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that now there are many more people at least willing to address the topic, if not give it honest scientific consideration, like the life on Venus thing. I mean, they had to really think outside of the box for that.
Right.
And at least there are people out there that are like, you know what, I'm done sticking with what's in the book. We're going to think for ourselves.
Jira Fang says, as our planet goes from third dimensional to fourth dimensional, I hope we don't run into anything. Right? Well, I think I don't know. And I, this is I'm just theorizing here, but I think at a point we'll be able to see the third dimension, but they won't be able to see us. Now, how that works as far as the frequency shift and what our physical surroundings will be like versus theirs, what that difference will be, I don't know. But that's how I'm thinking maybe it's going to
Then I will be totally creeped out by the fact that we must be being spied on by fourth dimensional things now.
Oh, of course. The higher dimensions can completely see us and manipulate our reality too. They can manipulate.
I understand we are constantly sharing space. I mean, my house is proof enough of that. However, it doesn't creep me out any less.
Right. It is a little weird to know that all these beings you think you're having privacy and you're alone, but you're not.
Man, no.
That's why you got to tune into your other senses and fine tune your psychic stuff because that's how you begin to perceive things that you can't physically see with your eyes. That's the only way you can perceive them while you're in this current dimension of physicality. So,
I'm with you.
Yeah, so that's why you gotta seek the creator and fine-tune your psychic abilities, friends. You know?
And listen to the space music.
And listen to your space music when you go to sleep. And maybe you'll get to go someplace nifty.
Right.
You know, because we all go there.
Zebulon 9, that's where I want to go.
All right, so we already covered that. Oh! Some physicists... We're not there yet. We're not there yet?
Are we there yet? We can go there.
We're going to need to because I have 2 copies of this article, which means we're missing one. I think. Yeah.
The traversable wormholes?
I clearly
we got to have that.
We're missing... Well, you can talk about it, but I can't bring it up on the screen.
All right, not a problem. We'll talk about the cosmic
Okay,
strings.
so I'll just go to the Zoom meeting while you address that one we don't have an article for.
Okay.
It's that important.
So, right. Well, I think so anyway. People have laughed about this for ages. Astrophysicists suggest that supermassive black holes might really be traversable wormholes, which is kind of awesome. I don't know if you guys caught earlier, most of the mainstream media put out these little brief blurbs on how the pictures they took of the black hole, the first actual pictures they took of the black holes, recently kind of verified Einstein's theory of relativity, which was nice, but it actually goes a little bit deeper than that.
I thought I had those pictures pulled up. Sorry. I thought I had them. No, that bugs me. Okay, go ahead.
Well, okay, so clearly Einstein's theory of general relativity predicted a lot of things. You know, time travel, wormholes, whatever, right? Einstein-Rosen bridge. And they say, you know, it's not yet empirically proven, although the math does lead me to believe that that's absolutely true. Well, now, a team led by a Russian astrophysicist in St. Petersburg thinks that they have a new way to figure out whether or not black holes are actually traversable wormholes, which, like, I've always wondered about that. Like, I kind of feel like maybe if you would travel through a black hole, you'd pop out on the inverse. We've talked about how on this show about how it's not necessarily the Big Bang, how it might be the Big Bounce, and how the universe will expand, you know, to a point that it collapses in on itself and then do it again and again and again. Well, they also have similar theories with wormholes that maybe you can travel to the inverse of the universe. I don't know necessarily that
the upside down, just like they say in Stranger Things, the upside down, friends.
All I know is this, man. I'm not about to be the first guy that tries to figure this out. Like, once they get the math is there, now what's the next step? We got to send in a probe, right? But they know that, like, stuff is not going to, like, the transmission of signals will not come back out of the wormhole, right? The black hole, the worm. I'm not going to be the test dummy on that mission.
The upside down is real.
Right? Can you imagine? What if you got stuck over there?
There is no dark matter. I mean, it all ties in. There is an energy. Inverse, there's energy everywhere. There is an inverse. Absolutely. There's an upside down, and you know.
But another interesting thing that they said is that if they are able to determine that these black holes are actually traversable wormholes, they would necessarily be also time machines. They would be time machines. I mean, you travel close to the speed of light, you're going to be traveling in time.
Right.
Which is kind of crazy. And I'm not going on that ride.
You're not.
We're going to need those automated ships, fly them in there and see what happens, I guess.
You want to watch the drone do it successfully first.
Right. Well, I mean, you couldn't even get the signal back. I don't know they'll have to literally send people in there and hope they pop out somewhere else. Unless that's what's coming to visit us. We just keep sending things into these black holes in the future and they're popping back up here. Wouldn't that be nuts?
Right.
Just a theory.
All right. So we are on to physicists see signs of cosmic strings. Now we're on to cosmic strings.
G. Morty said we can send Kanye first. I'm sure he would go.
Right.
Right.
I can think of a lot of people we could send first.
Man, right.
Look at these strings. Wow. Aren't they pretty? They're so cool.
They do look kind of nifty. However, they are pure energy. Cosmologists assume that for just a brief second, like I just was saying, not the Big Bang necessarily, the Big Bounce, everything collapses in on itself. And at the beginning of the universe, every potential force of nature was just for a millisecond unified, and then it exploded out and started to cool. Well, as it's cooling, just like you put water in an ice tray, you put it in the freezer, as it cools, you get cracks in the ice. They say they have now potentially found, not for sure, they potentially found evidence of these cosmic strings, which they are saying are actually cracks in space-time.
Wow.
As the universe went out and cooled, just like the cracks you get in a block of ice, which is kind of nifty.
That's really cool.
Right? Fractures in space-time, and it's pure energy.
As the universe expanded and cooled, the superforce condensed into its familiar parts: gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak forces, which, I mean, they're calling it that because that's the only language they have to describe it, but I get what they're saying.
Well, the gravity, electromagnetism, they're talking about the strong and weak nuclear forces.
Right.
I mean...
But the reason that people use that term is because they don't know what it is.
Right.
Okay.
Well, strong
so
and
that's
weak
the only
forces,
point
right?
that I'm making. According to some calculations, the cosmos might have cooled so quickly that the fabric of space-time became fractured, creating a network of whisper-thin tubes filled by pure energy that stretch across the breadth of the observable universe. Wow.
Nifty, right?
That is
They
so
think
cool.
that they might be able they think that if they can tell by the wobble on pulsars, like that they may be able, pulsars beam out radio waves on either side, like jets of ionized energy and matter or whatever, and that when it sweeps by, that's what we can pick up. When it passes by our line of sight, that's what we can pick up, kind of like a lighthouse. But they think that when their blips are distorted, physicists can then know to look there to find more information to determine whether or not these are, in fact, these cosmic strings.
Amazing. Okay,
Always
so
amazing.
this is the fun part. Well, I think really the science part of the show is the funnest part of the show. But
I love science.
Our last section, which would be disclosure and whatever you want to call it, disclosure, Stranger Things, Planet Strange. We have all kinds of nicknames for it.
Man.
But our first topic in Planet Strange is wizard battles and demon circles revealed in newly translated Christian texts. And I will let Foyle cover this because this would be her department.
Man. So, all right, I know a lot of you guys have probably heard of the scrolls of Nag Hammadi and the different things that they've been able to dig up, and then, or that they found, like these massive troves of information, on scrolls that they've translated. Well, they have recently translated some Coptic, which is like a Greek alphabet-based Coptic Gospels. They're all apocryphal texts. They're not considered to be in the actual Christian canon. They are kind of outliers, but there are some pretty interesting stories in these ones they just translated recently about wizard battles that took place when an early church was constructed. So one of the newly translated texts tells about a battle against diabolical wizards who were trying to destroy some ancient church that was being built as a dedication to the Virgin Mary in Philippi in Greece. Like I said, it was written in Coptic. So they think it was probably written about 1,500 years old, but it was based off of a story that was told way, way, way before that. In any case, they literally talk about battling these wizards that were like remnants, polytheistic, they were holdouts, like, pagan holdouts. They called them magi, like the magi, that went to see Jesus. But yeah, so there was a great wizard battle. The one I particularly like, aside from the one about the border guard who helped Jesus, which I thought that was kind of funny, they actually talk about demon trapping. In one of the texts, now this one was written actually in Greek, tells the story about how the Apostle Peter had trapped 7 demons who were masquerading as angels in a city called Azotus. And I keep thinking of the show Supernatural, maybe because I've been watching it recently, but apparently he gets these 7 demons and he traps them in a circle, and he does this like incantation to the Lord where they've got to admit what they're doing there, right? And 6 of the demons are like, yeah, we're demons, okay. And one of them, they admit it. They're like, we can't even lie anymore. We're not angels,
I'm a
we're
demon.
demons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One of them is there, and he says, he's there, falsehood, adultery, avarice, immorality. Like each demon had its own little specific thing. But there was the one demon, the seventh demon that was like, hey, wait a minute, man. He was like, let me ask you this.
Don't be hating.
Right? He asks Peter, he says, tell me this. Why is it that Christ will forgive human sins but won't forgive demon sins? And then he goes on to say, and for that matter, humans should stop blaming demons for their problems. Like, you guys don't need any help. This is literally what the demon tells Peter in the recently translated text, which I thought was hysterical.
How did Peter handle that?
Right?
How did Peter handle that?
It honestly doesn't say. I can just imagine.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't even say. Oh, Peter! Whoa! I lie.
We have an extreme left demon here. He's like,
right. The demon says,
don't be hating.
Yeah, humans should stop blaming demons for their mistakes. He says, they themselves fall down. He said, and he tries to tell Peter, I'm weak and without vigor, right? That way I can't be running around after all these people. The demon says, and then the end of the article says, Peter then lets the demons go. What, he just convinced him? Like, that was good enough argument to let the demons out of the circle? I don't know about that. I feel like there should have been some smiting going on, right?
That's intense.
Man. Yeah, apparently, the only surviving copy of this text is in the Biblioteca Angelica library in Rome.
Maybe the demon was a hot chick. I'm just saying.
Maybe.
Maybe. That's the only circumstance under which I could see that flying.
I just
where Peter's like, no, go ahead, get out of here. You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Right.
In fact, here's my number.
Demon just gonna be like, don't be blaming me for your problems. You did that on your own. Right.
That's great. I love it.
I can. It's crazy. All right, next one's on you.
All right, so there is a black hole at the center of Earth. I think this is one of the more interesting articles today. There's a black hole at the center of Earth.
Wouldn't that be something? 13
scientists say in a real journal, right?
I wonder if it's a traversable wormhole black hole. Wouldn't that be something?
Right? A ridiculous scientific paper could show one journal's failure to review and could even be generated by AI.
What?
Ridiculous. Peer review is complicated and isn't the same as fact-checking or analysis, but this is wild. It all started when scientists found a black hole at the center of the Earth.
It all started.
Right? They were like, no, that's not possible.
Right.
Scientists have uncovered a bizarre, indefensible paper that squeaked through peer review at what appears at the first pass to be a legitimate medical journal. Expert responses to the report are funny, but the research... I'm just here for the comments.
Right.
But the research represents some key items of interest in science publishing and academia more broadly.
It's probably in the same journals that publish all this climate change nonsense.
IFL Science points out that scientists occasionally float garbage into the peer review system to make sure it's still working. But it's not entirely clear that this paper is garbage on purpose. IFLS found some of the authors have been involved in previous wild and questionable papers suggesting an ecosystem of either fakers or conspiracy theorists.
Well, wait a minute now. The title of the article actually is called A Black Hole at the Center of the Earth Plays the Role of the Biggest System of Telecommunication for Connecting DNAs, Dark DNAs, and Molecules of Water on a 4 plus N dimensional manifold. They're talking about 4D. I mean, how can they really shoot that down? Do they know?
That's what I was thinking when I read this.
I mean, we literally, now to explain this to
maybe
me,
somebody caught on to something they weren't supposed to catch on to.
I don't know.
And they weren't going to let that fly.
They allowed the article about how black holes might be traversable wormholes. And that's okay to be accepted scientifically to look into further. But to suggest that there is a black hole at the center of the Earth, which, it probably isn't the case, I'm sure. But I'm just saying. Right. They just throw it right out. He's talking about, a different dimensional manifold. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, it is super wild.
In the open access Macedonian Journal of Medical Sciences. Yeah, I'm probably not digging that at all. Anybody that publishes in that is not doing any kind of medical procedures on me. I can say that for sure, though.
Dark DNA. Dimension dark DNA, most symbolically telling... What does it say? Brainless all brought in out of context with some wholly unrelated or even incomplete citations. At least one of the authors, Cotadina, has 4 pages that appeared in the same month in the same journal.
Oh, look at how it starts out.
Some of their verbiage is very interesting.
Well, look how it starts out. Recently, some scientists from NASA have claimed that there may be, NASA of course, a black hole-like structure at the center of the Earth. The abstract begins. Of course it does. Of course it begins with NASA.
Yeah. Right?
I'm not buying that one. But I'm just saying. The fact that they would pass this through peer review and then publish it just goes to show you that you can't. The science isn't settled, people. The science is not settled.
Science is never settled. Okay, I wanted to cover one thing about Space Force first. We need to give a shout here to... we need to do this, and there's a video I want to quickly play for you guys that you're going to find really fascinating about construction on Mars. So let's quickly show you this before we move on to UFOs. We've got some UFO stuff to show you today. So General Raymond tweeted this, United States Space Force history made. General Dave Thompson is officially the first ever Vice Chief of Space Operations. So yeah, we have a new Vice Chief.
This is the guy that said he's not sending humans up there during his career.
Right.
Come on, guy.
That's him.
We need you to get on board here. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we've got to have our space military. Humans.
I'm saying, we need troops on the moon, man. We need to let freedom ring on the
Anyway,
moon.
Congratulations. We have to say congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations
Welcome,
to General Dave Thompson. Yes, welcome to the family of space strangeness. Right?
Right. Can we get some acronyms, sir?
Right.
I'm just asking.
Right.
For the good of the whole.
And some space marines. We need human space
marines.
Operators. Right.
Right.
All right. So, and the other thing I wanted to show you guys, this is super cool, is, let me get it up here and paused. Okay. Check this out. So, okay, I got a Covfefe. Icon 3D Tech, an Austin-based construction technology company, has received funding from NASA to begin researching how to operate their technology on the moon. CEO Jason Ballard spoke with Casey on Fox 7 about what's next. I'm going to play the video. Let's see here.
Space company known for building 3D printed homes is now reaching for the stars. Good Day Austin anchor Casey Claiborne has details on Icon's upcoming project with NASA.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Austin-based construction technology company Icon is shooting for the moon. You may have heard of Icon from their cutting-edge work here on Earth.
What we're mostly known for so far is 3D printing houses, especially affordable houses and social housing and things like that. But we're also this year entering mainstream middle market housing.
Icon has 3D printed houses at Community First Village in East Austin, and in 2019 caught the attention of U.S. Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson.
All you would need to build something like this is the foundational platform. Very easy to put that in, and then in 2 days you got a house.
Now Icon says they've received a small business innovation research contract, including funding from NASA. The idea is to find a way to build on the moon. Here's Icon CEO Jason Ballard.
We have realized that off-world construction would be one of the applications of our technology from the very early days. And as the Artemis program, which is NASA's new initiative to return to the moon, and not only to return, but to return to stay, obviously these conversations have picked up in their not only seriousness, but urgency.
Ballard says Icon has officially launched Project Olympus, off-world construction on the moon and eventually Mars. Right now, Icon is researching how to adjust their 3D printing technology to get to the moon, and once it's there, operate in the less than ideal lunar conditions.
You were talking about hundreds of degree temperature swings. It's hard vacuum, micrometeorites, this interesting phenomenon called moonquakes. The dust is unbelievably abrasive and electrically charged, and it is a very, very harsh environment.
Ballard says they also have to figure out how to use moon dust as the primary resource for the building material.
We need to learn to build on the moon using the resources of the moon. In other words, if we have to bring everything along with us, it's going to be unbelievably expensive and slow.
And as Ballard points out, the moon is a weird place. Water, an essential ingredient in making concrete here on Earth, is useless on the moon.
Water-based cements and concretes that we use on Earth just sort of won't work on the moon because water sublimates. It turns straight into a gas. And so we're experimenting now with lasers and microwaves and infrared and kind of the whole electromagnetic spectrum to say, could you sinter or melt the material and build with it that way?
ICON hopes to build habitats and structures, but other things will come first, like roads.
The most challenging one in the early days will be lunar launch and landing pads, because the rocket, you know, if you want to settle a place, you're going to have to return to the same place over and over again.
Ballard says some may see ICON's efforts at providing affordable housing here on Earth and now heading for the stars as divergent. He sees it as one unified pursuit.
The feeling is that when problems are very hard, sometimes you have to make them bigger in order to solve them. And that we believe, in fact, a lot of our challenges to housing on Earth might be solved by space-age technologies.
I'm sure it's up to NASA when they actually get there, but when are you hoping to have this become a reality?
I'd love to see ICON hardware on the moon this decade.
Casey Claiborne.
Okay. So, yeah, wow, right?
Man.
Pretty crazy. And I didn't know that you couldn't use water.
I
So
mean,
we're
it
gonna-
does make sense.
We're
But
going to have moon igloos. Moon igloos made
Right.
from moon dust for our
G.
for our,
Morty said
for our
moon
space
goo
pirates
mortar.
and space operators while they harvest moon goo.
Moon goo. That's all
Right.
we need is the goo, right? Who needs water? We got moon goo.
Right? Seriously.
I'm with it. A lot of stuff going down in Austin.
Right?
Lot of
Austin
space-
is
Space
yeah.
tech and space stuff
Yep.
going down in Austin.
All right, so we got some
Trumplandia is
Right.
close to Austin.
right.
Yeah,
and
we should
maybe
go there.
Right.
I
So
think
we
it's
should
time.
go there eventually.
I think it's time.
Yeah, it's our secret hideout.
Right?
Or it's going to be.
Continue on.
It's going to be. That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Shh.
All
Don't
right,
tell
so
everybody. It's not a secret.
okay, I'm not telling anybody. All right,
All right.
so here we go. So on to the UFOs. So we've got this article. Now the wording in it is a little misleading, you know, but it's just a little misleading, guys. Not, you know.
No, not at all.
UFO sighting. Fleets of aliens seen over Connecticut. Okay.
Why would
So
they go to Connecticut?
I'm going to show you guys the video so you can see the UFOs. But let's see. They're saying a resident of Old Saybrook, Connecticut, was stunned to see a fleet of glowing orbs flying through the skies. The person, who goes by the YouTube's account Ginger Sailor, began filming the odd lights which are seemingly flying in formation. There were up to 9 of the lights which appeared in the sky for up to 3 minutes. The person filming the video expresses obvious disbelief as the lights dart through the sky. Writing in a caption in the video on YouTube, Ginger Sailor said around 8 or 9 orbs traveled in the same direction for a few minutes before disappearing in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, about 2 to 3 miles away from the Saybrook Point around 7:30 p.m. on September 19th, 2020. Let's check out the UFOs here. I'm not going to play the audio. I'm just going to play so you guys can see the UFOs. So let's see here. Let's check out the UFOs. There's no audio, so we can talk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is the fleet of aliens?
No, they're coming. Trust me. This is not the fleet of aliens yet. They're coming.
I mean, that was very anticlimactic. I'm so let down
No,
now.
you'll see the fleet of aliens. They're coming.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's well, it's taking a minute here. I don't remember it taking this long to see them, but they'll pop up here in a second. What is that giant thing in
I
the
don't know. I'm
sky?
thinking, is that something
That's
on
not
his
the
freaking-
UFO. I don't even know what that is. I'm trying. I don't even know what but that clearly doesn't look like a ship to me. I don't know if it's a blimp or what it is, but you'll see the. Is this the wrong video?
Jellyfish. I don't know. What are we looking at? No, California UFO. What is going on here?
No, this has to be the video. Well, where are they? I don't see them. And they
No,
weren't
that
diving
says,
down the
look,
highway in the one I looked
on-
at.
Nope, this says over motorway in San Diego. at
Yeah,
the
no,
top.
this is a different
What is
one.
that?
This is not the same video I looked at. Hold on. This is not the same one.
Scroll down.
Hold on here.
Man, they put up so much junk on these
Yeah,
pages.
it's this.
There.
It's
What's that?
This is it.
Oh, that's the fleet of aliens.
Those are the pictures of it. Still pictures. I'm trying to find the video though. There's a video. I watched it. Where did it go? Where did it go? I thought that was it, but apparently not. Because there's a still picture of it. I don't see it. Why do I not see it? Well, guys, I'm sorry to disappoint. I watched it earlier. Oh, maybe that was it. Oh, I can't figure it out. I don't know what's going on. But anyway,
I don't know why there'd be a fleet of aliens in Connecticut of all places.
Sorry to let you guys down, but apparently I can't find the video now, but here's the pictures. So I don't know what... That's really weird, friend. It's like it just disappeared.
A sky jellyfish. That's what I thought. Rainbow.
No, that wasn't the UFO
video. It looked like
video,
a jellyfish to me.
That wasn't. No, this UFO video, like legit. This is a still photo of what they caught on camera, and it was actually really cool. But I can't find the video. So sorry.
Somebody said refresh the page and see if it fixes, but.
Yeah, but it had a video at the top, but it wasn't the right one. I don't understand what's going on here.
I don't know. That's so disappointing. I
Wait,
want
is
to see
this
the
it?
Connecticut aliens.
I know, I do too. This is not cool. Wait. Is that it? That's what it says. Oh, we get a commercial first. So this is great. Well, paid testimony based on actual psychic reading. Wah, wah, wah. All right. Wah, wah, wah. Here we go. Is this? Yeah, here we go. This is it. So yeah, there. You see the UFOs, the lights? You see them? See? They phase in and out and do some cool stuff. That's what they do.
They are.
I've seen a lot of UFOs. That's what
unidentified aerial phenomena.
That's right.
These aren't UFOs. These are the phenomena. They're phasing in and out. So they may be some kind of like an interdimensional thing. Look at them.
Right? They communicate that way. They like you'll say in your mind. Hold on. Let me get rid of this. You'll say in your mind to these things like, you'll say, "Are you really?" You know, you might be saying it out loud, but you'll be saying it also to yourself in your head. You'll be saying, "Are you really real? Are you ETs? If you are, have another one light up." And this is what they do. And they'll hear your thought, and you'll go, "I don't know if that's real. Have another one light up," and then another one will light up, or you ask them to power up, and they power up, and they phase in and out. This is how they communicate, but they're communicating with the people that are watching. They're having the thoughts, you know.
Well, I'm bringing the lasers to Sedona, but
me too.
I'm just saying, I don't know if it's bad. I feel like our thoughts are not our own thoughts sometimes.
Some of them aren't. Yeah, some of them aren't. Clearly.
Man.
And then we've got a human tech interfering too, so it's coming from all different kind of spots. Okay, there was
all hamster.
There was a couple things I forgot to go into for you guys. One being Boeing. There was just too many stories to possibly cover tonight without going on for 3 hours. So Boeing wins $298 million Space Force contract for jam-resistant communications, which we already kind of went into some of what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I think I already said that SpaceX aborted the launch of GPS Space Force satellite with 2 seconds left on the clock. Elon will be going down to Florida to address why there's such problems with this happening. Elon says update for Starship spacecraft development program coming in 3 weeks. As far as the Schumann today, I told you where it was kind of hanging at for space weather. Now, we're still working on getting Keystone. She's getting her green screen, and then she'll be able to be the space weather girl. But in the meantime, here's what's going on with the Schumann right now. Like I was saying to you earlier, it's kind of fluctuating between 8 and 12. We did have a little surge there earlier, but it's kind of it's been hanging out around here, like kind of below 16 now for a few days. You said you saw a whiteout. I didn't look at all 3 days though, so yeah. So anyway, and then as far as space weather goes, we really don't have anything alarming going on. There's no alarming solar flares, no sunspots to speak of. Something cool though, Mars is going to be brighter than Sirius at the moment. This is going to increase over the next few days. So Mars is going to be, I believe, 3 times brighter than Sirius. So when you see the brightest thing out there, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at Mars right now. What else do I need to cover? Well, as the sun's magnetic field continues to weaken, we are going to be getting hit with more and more cosmic rays. So this is just kind of something that's not going to stop, and it's going to continue. But there's not really anything alarming other than that general situation that's been going on for a while and will continue. There's nothing really alarming going on in the solar weather. The polar melting, the polar caps melting is triggering this mini ice age that we're going into. I just wanted to quickly bring that up because you're going to hear a lot of propaganda about global warming. And it's actually quite the contrary. We're actually going into a solar minimum, and we're going into a mini ice age. So, yeah, I don't know if anybody's kind of noticed the change, but it's there if you start paying attention to. You have to be aware of it, though, I think, in order to start paying attention. So that's it as far as solar weather. I just wanted to cover the basics of it. And
I'm just waiting for the pole shift, man.
Right? I'm waiting for everything to melt down so we can check out the sarcophaguses buried under the ice of the, whatever they are down there.
Right.
I just want to know.
It will be soon.
I want to see it, right?
Like I said, I mean, we see major shifts happen about every 11,700 years, and we're about due. So hopefully we'll get some melting down there and see what the heck they've been hiding.
Yep, most definitely. Super good hanging out with you guys tonight. Super fun. We always look forward to Sunday nights. We love it. We love doing the Space Force news. So, all right, so what's coming up? Let's see. Conspiracy Couch. We're going to be changing the day and time. I'm not certain exactly what the new day and time will be. So I have to consult with Foil about that. And as soon as we get that figured out, I will make a post. So follow me on Twitter. You can follow Foil on Twitter. Both of our Twitter accounts are listed in the description below, as well as links to articles and sources we use in this show. Pink Patriot Podcast, which is on the Kate Awakening channel, Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. This week, it's going to be, there's a little bit of a change of plans. It's going to be Patricia from the Keystone channel, and White Hat will be with us. It's going to be a 4-way party this Wednesday.
Love those guys.
So, yeah, yes, very much so. And I believe, speaking of them, Patricia with the Keystone channel, go ahead and check out her channel if you haven't had a chance to. She does some really cool stuff over there. Tomorrow is her Great Awakening show, and I think her guest is Luke Skywalker. So that's always lots of fun on Mondays to go check out who her guests are in her interviews. And then directly after her will be White Hat's show. He does a couple of them a week, but I know for sure he does one Monday nights after Keystone. Yeah, so I think that about covers it.
Well, guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Like Alara said, our links are in the description below. You can donate to Space Force News Live at loyaltothefoil.com. Also in the description below. Make sure to meet us here next Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for another episode of Space Force News Live. Keep your eyes on the skies and stay loyal, my friends.
We are your news in this dimension and the next. Good
Peace
night,
out.
Space Peeps.
Space Peeps.